assignment name is the mid-take home assignment. Okay, so this mid-take home assignment that you should have to be do it at your home. Of course, that I mean you should have to be write them handwriting, and you should have to be give the in the same way that you always submit that the answer script, right? So you are going to be do this assignment with the handwriting, and you should need to be take the photos of those assignments pages, and after that you are going to be send it to me that I mean that the pictures are going to be in the PDF with your serial number, with your section. You just write there that the file name as a CSC-347, and your section is E, right? Section E.
Yes, sir.
So CSC-347E, and your serial number as a file name. And inside of that the file there should need to be a cover page. On that the cover page give that the related information, like I mean right on the top the mid-take home assignment spring semester 2021, and right there that I mean prepared for your course instructor name and prepared by your name, your ID, your section, and then submission deadline is actually going to be on 16th April 2021. That is going to be your submission deadline, and you must have to be I mean submit your assignments by that the given deadline. So your email must need to be reached to me within that the 16/4/2021 within midnight, right? Within midnight of 16/4/2021 you must have to be submit your home mid-take home assignment. So we understand by the seeing the name mid-take home assignment. Do you understand that? So that has been I mean you have to do. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is that the assignment actually I was preparing for you, and so that I mean I can give it to you today itself, and you can start working on this. Basically the assignments you are home assignment you're going to be do here, the facts are not that much difficult, in the sense that this is that the midterm we have syllabus, the midterm syllabus that we have actually covered, like that the CPU, and then that the data storage with that the primary memory and the secondary memory. The questions are going to be from there on. So most of the questions answers you already know, and we have already actually done it into our lab. Okay, sorry, into our lab, not lab, into our class. Into our class, all the works actually we have already done. So I don't think that I mean you are going to be face any problem for solving these questions. So anything is missing. 100, 40, 40, 55, 60, 70, 70, 85, 100. Okay. So let me show you that the home assignment that has been prepared for you, and I'm going to be share this file onto your Google Drive. Okay. Can you see that I mean the PDF file?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is your I mean assignment name. Make sure that on the top in the cover page of your assignment you are writing this information, that is the mid-take home assignment spring 2021, right? And you can write down that, I mean, the later informations for the assignments always, as always you are doing it, right? That, I mean, the assignment cover page, while you are submitting the assignment, you are preparing a cover page, right? So prepare the cover page and just give the name of the assignment, the mid take home assignment spring 2021. You understand that what I said?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
clear, right? It's a simple thing, you know that already.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a simple mistake still there. Just a moment. Also. Yeah, so here on the submission deadline I have given, you can see here the submission deadline is 16/4/2021, and your section is E, and this is the today's date that, I mean, the assignment has been given to you, and this is your I mean, after completing the assignment, send the file to the email address asia@5ubit.edu. So I have already given that, I mean, what are the, I mean, same as that the thing you do after giving that the exam, right? The similar way you are going to be prepare your PDF file, you know them. So that's why I did not write them into the instructions. Do you understand that? So that's why I'm taking, I mean, giving the information verbally. And look at the questions what you should have to be, I mean, prepare the assignment. So I would like to give you some discussions that, so that, I mean, while you're going to be do it, that time you are not facing any problems. Okay, so I'm making your job easier. So explain the two techniques that improve the CPU's fetching operation. So what are the two techniques? Can anybody tell me?
Uh,
What are the two techniques are there?
oops,
No one? For improving the fetching, what are the two techniques are there? Can you hear me? Anybody?
Pipelining, sir.
Pipelining. One of the technique is pipelining, and second,
oops,
second one, cache memory, right? Don't
yes,
forget.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, forgetting.
So that is the two techniques that you should need to be discussed very smartly. Okay, that with the detailed information, those two techniques, it should come into your explanation. So that the cache memory. So give that the cache memory. What is cache memory? Then the different levels of caches, discuss in detail. Do you understand that with the related figures? And then the pipeline, what is the pipeline architecture, what is the pipelining? So give that the informations of that the classical 5 steps pipelines, as well as that, I mean, what is that the, I mean, problem if you're having that the more pipelines, I mean, all the things we have discussed in the class. So you should have to bring in your explanation such a way, I mean, make it your own explanation. Please do not share your answer with others. Yeah, I want to see that you're giving your own information, because these are the things are not like, I mean, you are doing the mathematics. Okay, these are the things that how you are smart. I mean, you are studying some different, not only that the lecture notes, but also the internet. From the internet you are searching, and you have to be smart to organize your answers. So I want to see that the answers you're writing for these questions, you are very smart. So that's why you do not need to share, I mean, do not ask that, okay, give your answers to me, because, I mean, this all that the answers already you are having into that the lecture notes, as well as you have the internet with you. So if someone is asking that, okay, give your answer to me, then, I mean, it is, I mean that means that the student is not, I mean, do not know anything to do, I mean, assignment. Okay, so this is the simple task. So you understand, right? The first question how you're going to be explained. You understand?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the
Yes.
second one is a bit the explain the primary differences, advantages, disadvantages, and similarities between the CISC and RISC architecture. Okay, so this is the question here I have given. We have already discussed about the CISC and RISC, and we have actually talked about the differences, main differences, primary differences between them. But I want that you make some more studies into the internet and make clear about these two architectures and find their primary differences, advantages, disadvantages, and similarities. So again, that the information, if you're searching into that Google, you are going to be get a lot of informations about these advantages, disadvantages, similarities for that these two architectures. Instruction set, right? CISC and RISC. I hope that you remember that. Is it clear that how you should have to do it? To make sure that you are not missing out anything while you are talking about the CISC. You should have to be tell what is CISC, what is the advantage of CISC, what is the disadvantage of CISC. You should have to talk about the CISC architecture and the RISC architecture similar way, and then you should have to make a table to show that the difference between the CISC and RISC, and then you should have to show also the similarities between them. Get it or not?
Yes, sir.
And this is the question I have given to you. That is actually you have already done it in the class test, right? Only that, I mean, maybe that the some numbers are different and it is the addition operation. Okay, that, I mean, this is very important. I say it. This is very important, and that's why I have given you this for the assignment as well again, so that actually you get another practice. You understand that? So I hope that there is not going to be any problem to solve this one, right? That the CPU's operation, fetch, decode, execute, store. Okay, so these are the three instructions you are having. That the three instructions, for that the three instructions you should have to be draw three figures, right? Show it into the three figures. That is going to be enough. That the three instruction executions. Get it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the next one is draw a classification tree for the 4 different types of data storage and explain this storage in details. Can you remember that I have shown you a figure in the data storage chapter? There is a classification tree figure, right? That, I mean, what are the memories we can have in the computer system? Can you remember that? No? You cannot? Anyway, so we are actually we have, can you see the data storage, this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the figure I am talking about. There are 4 types of storage. These are the data storage actually we are having into our you are using into our computer system. So you should have to be draw these figures, and you should have to be explain. You should have to be explain this storage in detail. So that means you should have to be, I mean, talk about what is primary storage and what is secondary storage, tertiary storage, offline storage, and other storage. So you should need to be have a bit detail of this, all of the different 4 storage we are having. Look at here, these are the 4 storage we are talking about. But also I would ask you that while you are going to be explain this 4, you should need to be also talk about the data storage. It's very important. Okay, that, I mean, sorry, the cloud storage at least. Okay, the others actually. Get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now next question is that so this is also a simple job. So next job is that this is that, I mean, we have already done it, right? Can you remember that while the
Yes,
q
sir, yes,
equals
sir.
0, q bar equals 1, when the q equals 1, q bar equals 0, then now what is going to be happen? So that is actually that, I mean, we have done it. We have actually practiced it in our class also. 2 days, 2 classes we have used for understanding that the SRAM architecture, read and write operations, and with that the information here. So it is telling about so it is only telling about the reading operation. So you should only show about the reading operation, saying that suppose memory holds value of q equals 0 or q bar equals 1, explain how the SRAM reading operation is going to be done and successful. Only reading operation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Right. And this is that the last question. That is the explain the internal parts of a conventional hard disk drive by following the given figure. Discuss how a hard disk works. So that is that the fact here that you are going to be you are seeing that already that the things are marked. So you should have to be study and find out that actually what are the what are these components are. So you should have to explain them after drawing this figure into your khata. Then you are going to be actually explain one by one. Maybe you can mark it with the A, B, C, D, E, F, and one by one you are going to be explained. And then you are going to be discuss how a hard disk works. So that is actually we are having the slides with the 6 steps, step by step. So that actually you can use for answering this. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
have we need to do the figure, sir?
Yeah, you have to draw the figure for all this one also, right? And this one also. You should have to be draw the figure. Okay. And
But sir, number 6 figure is, sir, much more critical, sir.
okay, so if you think this is the critical one, then do one thing that we have discussed that geometry, right? For the internal hard disk. Draw this one. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Difficulties, then you can draw this one. I think I am going to be remove this hard disk. I'm going to be explain to. I'm going to ask you to draw that the hard drive geometry, right? Then I'm going to remove this if it is hard for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you understand? So I have solved your assignments already. So what you have to do is that you have to give some time. That is all the fact here, that you should have to be effort your time. You should have to be, I mean, collect that the answers from that different sources, and you should have to study, and you should have to be complete these assignments. And what is the submission deadline? This is that the rate deadline, rate submission deadline again. Then I mean, right, 16/4, right, of this month. So 16 is what, which day? Friday. So by the Friday night, that the assignment must need to be submitted. And while you are doing this assignment, make sure that you are writing the questions, and serially you are doing it. First you are writing the question number 1, just write 1 and explain the 2 techniques that improve the CPU's fetching operations. Do you understand that? So after
Yes,
giving
sir.
that,
Yes, sir.
then give the answers. After finish the answer, then start with the number 2, write down the question and answer. Number 3, write down the questions with that the figure and answer. Do you understand that? This way. Any
Okay,
questions related to
Sir,
that? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it possible to add one more day, sir? Because, sir, many of faculties are, the deadline is 16, sir. Then it will be, sir, really hard, sir.
So that is what I said
Probably
already, that
before-
that is what I said, that rate deadline, rate, right? So what does that the rate deadline means? So that is actually that the, I mean, rate deadline means rate deadline. You cannot get more time. Do you understand that?
Okay, sir.
So
Okay, sir.
I mean, that is that the day, I mean Friday, that night, I mean within midnight you must need to be submit this assignment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so I mean that is what I said to you. I mean yesterday also I have made the discussions that if you are working daily basis, if you are planning, if you have a routine, that okay, when you are going to be do which task, and based on that the timing, if you are doing those tasks, then at the end you are not going to be in trouble. The problem is that we feel lazy and we do not do our works, and just I mean when the submission date comes, then we are actually taking too much pressure and doing a lot of activities. That is really bad, especially in this situation, the COVID-19 situation, that you should not pressurize your system. I mean, you should not take more pressure. That is actually not good for you. So make sure that I mean you are having a routine, you're having a plan, that how the daily basis you're going to be work to complete this all the assignments that you have got for that different courses, right? So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
yeah, please.
Sir, in our theory presentation, what will be our, sir, presentation deadline, and also, sir, our report submission deadline? If you tell about it, then it will be
I
better.
think I
sir.
have already discussed it yesterday. I do not understand that you people are telling that
Yes, sir.
not say-
Someone was not present in, sir, our lab
Sir, I
class.
don't have
Sir, I'm
lab class, sir.
begging, sir. Sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
I have said that I mean we are going to be have 4 more classes after this, maybe 5. I don't think 5. Just a moment, let me open that the academic calendar. The academic calendar is telling that our reading days for this semester start from April 29. So that means we are going to be class up to the 28th April. So if it is the 28th April, Yeah, right. So that means we are getting exactly 5 more classes. You understand that? And as we said, that our plan is we are going to be do that 3 hours. 3 hours we need to complete our all that the presentations. I say that is just a moment. That also I have to make sure that I have the course outline. I have make it for that the 3 hours or 2 hours. I think it can be also done with that the 2 days, 20 minutes presentation apparatus. Yeah, right. So I have kept here the 2 classes for that the CSC-347 presentation, right? So that means we are going to be have that the presentation on that the 26 and 27, right? Of this month, 26 and 27. What is the yeah? So 26 and 27. These are the 2 days you are going to be do your presentation. You are going to be do your given work presentation, right? And your report submission date is going to be 23rd, or you can make it 24. I don't mind. Or you can make it as well as 25. I don't mind, because 26 and 27 we are going to be do the presentation, and you are going to be, I mean, submit your report file, Word report file, as well as your presentation file. That the file you are going to be follow for presenting, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So which submission date you want, that you can decide. Is it 23, 24 or 25? But whatever the date you
Sir,
are
25, sir.
the date you are actually selecting, you should not cross this deadline. I really hate this. I mean, if you are not, I mean, if you're, I'm giving you the chance for selecting the date, but 25, if you are selecting 25, then all the files should need to be reached to me on that day. Sunday, 25th April, Sunday, between that 6 to 12 midnight, okay, up to the midnight. So I don't want to see that you are sending me the file on 26 before your presentation. If you're doing it, then I'm going to be give you some minus marks. If I'm seeing that in the morning time you're sending the files, then you're going to be get some minus marks. Remember it. Clear about that your projects deadlines?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So are you clear about your mid-take home assignment?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's good. And we are discussing about the lecture 4, right? I think how much we have done? I think we have done up to 34, or we have completed.
Yes, sir. Up to 30. Sir, up to 34, sir.
Up to 34.
Last page is
last page
Last
is
one
there.
was
Okay,
left,
so
yes, sir.
I have already shared this. I mean, okay, so I have already shared these files, right? That I mean the slides as well as the lecture notes for the lecture 4. So please, I mean, you should have to make sure that you are studying these things. I mean, today's here that the last slide we are having, in that the last slide we are talking about that the performance enhancement for that the hard disk drive. So there are different ways that I mean we can actually use the, I mean, the different techniques we are having, that we are using actually for improving the performance of a hard disk drive. So that actually includes the three techniques, as you can see here. This is that the disk caching. You are having the redundant arrays of inexpensive disk, RAID technology, and the file compression and decompression. So I'll ask you that, I mean, to study these things, 3 things in detail from that the documents, the lecture notes, as well as from the internet. Basically, these are the huge topics to discuss, but as because this is not only that the I mean our topic for discussing here. That's why I have just given that the short information here on, just giving that the basics. So the disk caching is similar like that the that cache memory that we have discussed. So you have already learned so that the cache memory, if you are using that the cache memory, then CPU is going to be easily fetch that the instructions from the cache memory. You do not need to go to the RAM. So remember here that the disk caching that we are talking about the hard disk drive, that the hard disk drive is not actually directly going to be accessible by the CPU. Okay, why? Because the CPU that the hard disk drive is actually far away from the CPU, right? It is far away more than that the RAM, so that the CPU can directly access that the memory. We have already discussed several times in the class that whatever the things is happening, that informations will come first memory, and from that the memory the CPU is going to be fetched. So that means the CPU is not going to be directly access the information from the hard disk drive. It must need to be sent via that the main memory, that the RAM, that information to the CPU. So it's telling that provides a temporary high-speed holding area between a secondary storage device and the CPU, improves the performance by anticipating data needs and reducing time to access data from the data storage. So that means that the disk caching we are talking about, that is going to be happening to the secondary device itself. That is actually, if you are talking about the hard disk drive, then the hard disk drive is going to be have that the disk caching. So that the disk caching that is going to be faster, it is going to be faster, the result is going to be there. Okay, that for accessing the informations from the hard disk. So if anything frequently you are going to be accessed from the secondary storage, so in the disk caching those frequent informations are going to be stored. So that if anything is needed by the CPU, then actually it is going to be directly it is going to be it will be able to access those informations quickly from the hard disk, and it will get the information via that the RAM to it. Do you understand that? Similar like that the cache memory that we have discussed. Okay, so is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it has been said that about, if you're using that the disk caching into that the hard disk drive, it has been said it is about 35%. Overall performance can be improved 35% faster. You will be able to access the data. Okay. So the next one is coming, that is that the redundant arrays of inexpensive disks. So RAID technology, that we have actually a bit talk about this technology when we are actually identifying the different components of the motherboards. We have seen that we are having the RAID SATA connectors, RAID IDE connectors. So these are the RAID technology is there, that the technology basically improving the performance by expanding the external storage. By expanding that the external storage, by it is improving that the access speed and providing that the reliable storage. Okay, so here what is happening, that you can see in the picture that you are going to be have actually the several inexpensive hard disk drives that are going to be connected with one to another. So what is going to be the benefit? These connections will be create a network or they are going to be actually within that the specialized RAID devices. So these connections, this network are going to be work together. Okay, so that means if anything is happening, so that if a hard disk, if you're looking for some data, if a hard disk cannot give it, it is going to be into that the other. And also what it is actually doing is that it is actually keeping that the backups, the backup informations. If a hard disk is actually in trouble, then you can actually get that the backup information from the another. So especially actually this type of hard disk, you can imagine that okay, you do not need actually into your home or into your office. This type of actually the RAID technology is really needed if you are if you are actually have the servers for your organizations. If you are having that the servers on that the servers, actually you need that, because you are the servers are going to be active 24/7, 24 hours 7 days. So that means you need that the more storage space for keeping the informations into that the servers. So it is actually going to be used. You'll often find it that this type of the RAID technology has been used while you are having the in the organization internet servers, or if your organization is large, they need to be actually keep their different informations or storages into this by using this RAID technology, so that actually they do not lost the important informations. Clear? Right.
Yes, sir. Got it.
The last one is that the file compression and decompression. So file compression and decompression is simple thing that, I mean, we are using that the zip folders, right? So we are actually compressing those files into a single folder, or even a single file also can be zip, unzip. So that the zipping technologies you are doing. So using that apps you are using, that different apps are there. All zip is there, zipping, unzipping is there, WinRAR is there. So there are different compression and decompression apps we are using. So that we are actually using, especially when you are sending that the email, right? So many files maybe you can place into a folder, and then actually you can simply zip it. So that file, single file, can be added into your attached into your email, so that the recipient actually get the all the files into that the single folder after unzipping. So that the zipping you are doing, that is actually you are compressing the folder or compressing the file, and while you're compressing, the file size is going to be reduced a bit, and actually when that the receiver is receiving this compressed file, the zipped one, then he is actually unzipping it. So that means this is the decompression. For original, getting that the original files, that the receiver must need to be unzipped. So that is actually the decompression. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think that is what we have done here. Let's take your attendance. Okay, so Muhammad Aminul Islam is not here. Alif Laila Jannat,